continue, insert coin. Back to split, legging hits to the groin. Live in Mortal Kombat versus Shao Kahn. Resemble dad and mom just to face my fear. I had not to care to conquer life. Needed balls, bollocks, cojones to embrace aloneness. Hearing your life's less made my decisions lifeless, but I digress. You 90s rulers of life a mess by your behest. We do all what you say for a quest. Intention the best creates intended tension. Thinking there's secrets in the Snowden. Mad after facts out and about, so we spout hate to what we create. An endless cycle, the fate we articulate, capitulate. Forward checkmate on a checkerboard. Rise on a ripcord to see pots, pans. Looking up for fellow follow fans who sing praise and worship under all. But we can't have that unwanted subscription. We only subscribe to accomplish aspirations for those we say
I can go anywhere.
Black, white with some black kids. Black car in the black crib. Black owned, black ran. Black woman and black man. Bet on black. Bet on black. Bet on black. Bet on black.
It's 2021, folks. I know y'all did not expect to go past New Year's Eve. Y'all did not expect to get past 2020, but you're here. And if you're here listening to this, that means you are here on the first week of 2021, and hopefully it was prosperous for you. But if it wasn't, you still got about 350 something days left, so there should be no excuses. And as you can see, the world is still here. And being that it's still here, you still got hope. And this is what Bet on Black is about. Bringing black people together and chanting hope. Or something. I don't know. It's a new year. It's crazy. I don't know. But we'll see. But anyway, folks. Today, good evening. You survived 2020. You still hear my voice. Everything is good. And today we have special guests on, because this is how we do it on Bet on Black. We bring on black creatives from anywhere. And I actually, quick perfunctory, yes, folks, for those who listen to both podcasts, I went to the dark side. I got an iPhone. And I'm still trying to figure this phone out. My wife said it's going to take about 2 weeks to use it. And it's, by the time you hear this, it has been 2 weeks. I still don't get it. But considering that I have the iPhone now, I'm on the Clubhouse app, and this is where I met my guest. She is an author and activist out here in New York City, and there's a lot to author and a lot to activate out here because New York City is trash, and I can't wait because the family and I are almost ready to leave. So a few more weeks, but let's talk to her. So I have on Adonijah Niles. I probably said that wrong, but she'll correct me because I was in the Clubhouse room the first day she was in there, and somebody butchered the hell out of her name, and I did not record it because that would have been great content. But yes, we will speak with Miss Adonijah Niles and let her introduce herself, and we're going to get into it.
All right, everyone. My name is Adonijah Niles.
There it is. See? I told y'all I was going to butcher it.
But everyone calls me Addie for short. I am 26 years old. I'm a mother of 3. I own 2 businesses. One is Abundant Nutrition LLC, where we cater to fitness attire as well as like fitness accessories, and Unique Couture Cosmetics, which is my 10-year-old daughter's cosmetic line, where we cater to, we hand make lip glosses, lip scrubs, soaps, and things of that nature. All your body care needs, we got you.
Okay. So question, your soaps, do they cure the COVID?
They do not cure COVID, but I wish I did create something that did.
No, don't say that because they will take you out.
Right, I know.
I'm surprised they haven't gone after Jamaicans yet, because I go ahead soup every Friday. That'll cure anything you got.
Okay.
But, you know how that go. I tell my wife that all the time. If whoever got COVID, just tell them to go get some go ahead soup, knock it out in 2 days. She think I'm kidding. It's okay. So folks, yes. So true, yes. So again, I'm on the dark side. I went with Darth Vader in that Mac with his iPhone. with this iPhone. But the Clubhouse app, I have to admit, it's growing on me. I mean,
Yeah.
there is the ratchet, stupid rooms, but I've learned a lot and I've made a lot of connections. And some of those connections will be on future episodes of Bet on Black. So, but tonight we're going to focus on Miss Addie. So, Miss Addie, please tell us about your journey, because as I said to you before we started, I did read your CNBC excerpt, and your story is kind of reminiscent of a lot of people in this country right now, being that we're still under this pandemic and a lot of uncertainty is out there because Congress and the Senate like to play games because they're
Right.
getting six figures and everybody just wishes they could see six pieces of food on their plate. So
Right.
if you just like to give the folks who don't know you a quick excerpt of what you have gone through in this pandemic, I'm sure they would be edified by what you're saying, and please give them hope.
Yeah. So, a little about my situation. I started my business back in April of this year. I was doing Herbalife nutrition, where I was making meal replacement shakes and snacks and stuff like that for people who are interested in losing or gaining weight. And it was going good for the first couple of weeks. Of course, they passed the stimulus, and then they had the extra money in there for unemployment, things of that nature. So it was beneficial within the first couple of weeks. Then once like stopped, it hit my family very hard because I am
Hold on one second.
I don't get child
Did
support.
you
I don't get any other
wait a
help
minute? What the
besides
hell
my
happened?
pay. So I had my income coming in. Prior to that, I was working a transportation job. I was an assistant in their office, and I got laid off in March. So I figured with the little coins I had, I was going to go ahead and start a business. In April, I started that. Things are going all right. Then it just kind of just shut down. And when I say shut down, I don't mean to shut down because of COVID. It just shut down because people weren't as interested in buying at that moment. So it kind of put a damper in my situation. And of course, when you think about nutrition, you think, okay, it's, getting you healthy, it's giving you what you need. But, you're stuck in the house. People want to eat. They're not thinking about losing weight when they're in the house all day. They want to eat what they want. So I had to kind of deal with going through that whole situation. And it just was a lot. So my daughter ended up getting virtual school. So she came home. So I wasn't able to go back out in the workforce due to that because I didn't have childcare. Her babysitter caught COVID. So luckily they were not there during that time. And I'm just grateful that they weren't, because then it would have been a whole another situation, 3 sick kids and then myself. It would have been a lot to kind of deal with. But I thought I could help, some friends, and hope the income would come in to help me pay my rent. And they came, they ate, they used up electricity, and left me with this big bill that I had to take care of on my own. So here I am trying to help someone while I'm already in need, and they made it worse. So, and I can't solely blame them because I knew better. I knew that I should have just said, no, I'm here to help my family only, especially during this time. But my heart was like, someone's in need, so help them. And sometimes we're so quick to rescue people out of their situations while we're in our own situations. And it puts a damper on us. It's like a weight of the world like sitting on our backs, as if we have to be the savior for everyone, but we don't need to. Really and truthfully, you need to just stick to yourself and kind of get yourself situated before you can help someone else out of their situation. 9 times out of 10, when you're going through something, there's no one there for you. So you have to kind of like know when to say no, even though they're going through it, like it's understandable, but your life is important as well. So you have to put yourself first. I didn't do that. So what ended up happening was I was falling behind on rent. I couldn't afford to pay. I didn't have any income coming in besides unemployment. So I figured, well, while I did have some money from unemployment, let me try to invest in some type of business that's going to help me make money. So I would pay a portion of my rent, and then I would, save some money to the side to try to get my LLC together, My daughter wanted to start a business to help out. So I was like, maybe if I can, help her make things at home, we could use that money to kind of help us with our payments. But it actually wasn't enough. So we fell behind about $5,400 in rent. So that's about 6 months worth of rent that was not paid. 6 months. It was a lot. $5,400 don't come easy like that. So trying to come
It
up,
does, but I ain't gonna say the two. Let the two work
right,
together. We not gonna not tonight. Not
right,
tonight. Not tonight.
right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as easy for me. So I had to kind of deal with what I had, and I ended up reaching out to a reporter at CNBC because they were talking about stories and hearing everybody that's going through, with COVID and how it affected their family. So I didn't think that they were gonna choose my story, but I got a phone call and he was like, "Hey, we would like to hear more about what's going on with you, what happened, and how we can, broadcast this to let people know that this is a real situation, that families are really dealing with these things and it's hurting them." A lot of the stories that they catered to were stories of people that had money, that were well off, had homes, and kind of like lost pretty much everything or had to sell everything just to make ends meet. Whereas my story came more from an aspect of a single mom, already not even near middle class, trying to maintain her home. So it was good to be able to see the diversity in in the struggles of different people from different walks of life, just to see that they didn't discriminate that. But I spoke to him about it. They put the article up, and it was funny because that same day the article went up, someone sent me a Venmo, and I was like, who's this? Like, where did you come from? And they were like, oh, I just read your article today and it touched me, and I just want to bless you and your family. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'll accept the blessing. And then more people just kept pouring in. And then someone came and was like, hey, we're going to pay $3,000 of your back rent. And I was like, what? Like, this is unheard of. Like, I've never, seen people actually, like, especially during the pandemic, everybody's holding on to their coins. But to see that people really were touched and understood, like, people are really hitting on hard times and they just need help. They just need that extra hand to kind of pull themselves out of the rut. It was great to know that there were people that actually cared enough to reach out and check in and make sure that we were okay. So I really did appreciate that a lot from the individuals that did help. I appreciate, the reporter, because he even wrote me like, hey, there's a lot of people asking and inquiring and they want to help. They wanted me to pass along your information to them so that they can reach out to you. And I was like, okay, that's dope. That's cool with me. I'm fine with that. My kids definitely appreciated it because Christmas, I told them, was canceled. They wasn't getting nothing. and it was just more so like, like priorities. I can't afford to get you guys what you guys want when we need things. I can't afford to take from our need right now because we need these things to survive. We need a house over our head. I've been homeless several times, and it's not fun, especially with children, young children at that. It's not something that you want to your kids to endure. It's not a good situation, and I'd never want them to look and say like I didn't try or I didn't do the best that I could as a mom to make sure that they had what they needed. So I was always pushing and pushing and pushing to make sure that my kids had whatever they needed, regardless of what sacrifices I needed to make. So that was that interview with CNBC. It was pretty dope.
Cool. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And make sure all y'all that listen to this cut that part out and keep replaying it. That's humans are not dicks.
Right.
Most of the time. But the pandemic has been tough on everyone. It's been tough on me too. And I've been out of work since March, and then I went back for a little bit, and then I got laid off again because I work in the restaurant biz and it's getting cold. People want to stay home.
Right. Take out, DoorDash.
Yeah. And that money doesn't really cover. And then of course we finna talk about them. The two people running this state. They don't know what they're doing, but I'm gonna be nice because this is where we're positive. and politics is for the other show.
Right.
So I was also reading over your journey as well, and I remember in the clubhouse room. Now I don't know if you want to talk about this. You could just tell me, nah, or I don't mind. But you had said you had papers on you. I don't know what that means. Wait, I think you went out again. Did you? Barely. Say something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. Be careful with that. The StreamYard's kind of fickle sometimes. No, you were saying that. I don't know. I might have misheard you, but did you say that you were arrested before?
Yes, I was.
Now,
I
I know how black people are with their criminal records. Like, if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay.
No, actually, so my criminal history is actually a part of my story. Like when I talk to anybody, I always bring it up because everybody always looks at me like you, like out of all people, you were arrested.
Yeah, I only said that because I didn't want to bring it up because as I was looking for a picture for you, of course I went to Google and the first one that came up was your mugshot. I think that was you. I'm not lying. No, I tell no lie. First it was your book, which I hope you promote because we want people to get that. And then it looked like you. I don't know if that was you, but it was a mugshot. And I was like, son, I was like, how y'all gonna do this woman like this?
I know.
And it's not fair. And I was like, see, if she was anybody else, they wouldn't have done that.
Right.
But they just made sure, oh yeah, her name is unique. We finna put this right there. But as long as it's part of your journey, if you would like to talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it. It's cool.
Right. Okay. So you don't want to talk about it. She's like, you got to ask me first. You got to ask me first. I ain't giving up no information.
Yeah. Look, we can talk about it. It's actually cool. So,
okay.
I mean, it's not cool, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, unless you save somebody and then they say you might have did it and you fought the case and won, okay. But if you did something shady, right? I mean, you better be careful. I don't want to be reopening somebody's case.
Right. No.
Because we know the court system up here, they ready to open up.
Right. So what happened with my court case was this. So I was 19 at the time. A friend of mine was we were at my god sister's house, and a friend of mine, like, we were listening to music on my phone, and a song came on that I wrote and sang. So he was like, that's you? Like, why aren't you pursuing music? And I was like, cause like I just do it for fun. Like, it's not something that I really took seriously. I mean, I took it serious, but I didn't know like who to go to for a studio time and, you know, engineers. I didn't know anything when it came to like the music industry. So I was just more so like, you know, like, I mean, I do music, it's whatever. Like, I did club promotions and things like that in the past, but I never took my music serious. So I literally would write music and record it for myself, not for anyone else. And he was like, well, you know, I know some people that's in the music industry. They're always recording on Saturday. I can hit them up and tell them, you know, hey, look, I got a girl that could sing her butt off. You know, let's go ahead and like put her in the studio. So I was like, all right, cool. So of course he made the call. The next day, someone came in like this big Escalade, pulled up, you know, black tinted windows. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? Somebody trying to kidnap me? Like, who you got coming over here to come pick me up? So there was, of course, a bodyguard in the car. The person that I was supposed to meet was not in the vehicle. He was actually at the studio at the time, who was actually my co-defendant. So I went to the studio. When I was there, I don't like to name drop, but her name has been out in the media. So I guess, yeah, I'm not even gonna do it because if I say it, then it's probably gonna be a whole nother situation. But there was a female that was there, who was well known in the music industry for being a home wrecker. And so when I went, you know, I seen her and I'm like, okay, so this got to be a legit situation. Like, you know, everybody's in a studio recording their music and chilling and vibing. So I was like, you know, cool, I guess I'll rock out. So my co-defendant was like, well, let me hear what you got going on. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and sing for you was something that I wrote. So the first song I sang to him, he was like, yeah, it's all right. I wrote a song about Trayvon Martin. And he was like, it's nice. I like that you paid homage, blah, 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 blah. But the second song that I wrote was on like a Beanie Siegels soundtrack, and he listened to it and he was like, that one has more passion. Like, I like that. I like that, you could talk about your story and get it out there. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, so can I do music? Like, we in the studio, can I record? Like, that's the reason why I'm here. So he was like, oh, well, we'll talk about it some more another day. I'll let you go and sing and whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. So I sat there, chilled out with them, went home, came back the next day because he wanted me to come back. And it was like the repeated thing. So I'm like, okay, like, are we doing music or what? Because I thought the reason why I'm here is to sing. So we ended up going to another studio where I laid my first track. And he was like, well, because you're good with administrative work, I would like to have you on board as an assistant of mine. He was like, in the meantime, you can work on your music when we're at the studio in case I need you to sing on some hooks of mine. You could work at the studio. You could, do your music at the studio with me or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So he was like, we're going on tour. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll catch y'all when y'all come back. He was like, no, we're taking you with us so you can go on tour with us. He was like, this way you could, get the experience or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I got to tell my mom because at the time my daughter was only 3. So I was like, I got to let my mom know that I'm going on tour this way. If she says no, I can't go because I got to stay home with my daughter. But, luckily my mom said that I could go. So I ended up packing up a bag, and then I left. We went on the road. We were, up north. We were down south. We were out west. Like, we were literally everywhere on the tour bus, just going to different locations. Because I did promotions in the past, so I would reach out to the promoters of those clubs and, let them know that we were coming through. They would get us VIP sections, and things were great. What ended up going south was, so basically, like, he had me, because I was an assistant, he had me, calling the different hotels, setting up meetings, setting up reservations to go and stay there when we would go into these cities. And when we would go, we would end up leaving. So say we booked for like 2 weeks at the hotel. Instead of staying the full 2 weeks, we would end up leaving a week early. So we were only there for like 7 days or so, and then we would leave out, which is normal for, last minute things. If you're traveling, you're traveling. If you're on tour, you're on tour. Things happen. You may not stay someplace long enough. You might have to get up and go. So it was understandable. But to my knowledge, I thought everything was okay. How I found out things were not okay was the night we got arrested. So we had just got back from the studio. We were in Pensacola, Florida. We had just got back from the studio, going back to the hotel, and he called me outside. He was like, yo, come outside. I gotta tell you something. I was like, what happened? So I was like, I got dressed and went outside, and he was like, they know who I am. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, who knows who you are? He was like, the group, because prior to us getting down to Pensacola, we were in another city, and he had got into an argument with everybody and was like cursing and carrying on and told everybody his real name. So I guess at that moment, everybody like looked him up to see who he was. And I guess that was big for them because I don't know if they were like trying to set him up or they were trying to find some dirt on him or whatever. But I guess they had looked him up and they found out that he was on like America's Most Wanted, and that he was running from the Secret Service. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the hell did I get into? Like, what is this? But I didn't know any of it. So while we were outside, we seen a police car pull up like really, really, really slow with the lights off. So I'm just like, like, what the hell? Like, why are they patrolling with the lights off? Like, I don't understand. It's dark outside. Like, why are they driving with lights off? So then he was like, it's over. As soon as he said that, I kid you not, it looked like something out of a movie. It was like 20 police cars pulled out. There was like mad police officers on foot with guns drawn, and they were just like all over the place. So they grab him and they're like, you're under arrest. So we're looking around like, what the hell is going on? Because, like, for one, who knows that we're here? Two, who the hell called and told the police that we were here? And what the hell are y'all looking for? So, once they put him in the car, over the walkie, I heard them say he was with a black female. Now, I'm the only black female that's outside. No one ever asked me, like, are you this person that we're looking for? They just automatically assume, like, oh, she's the person that he was with, because I'm the only black female outside. So they're like, okay, we're taking you in for questioning. So I was like, okay, cool. We end up going into the interrogation room. And of course, you see this on TV all the time. They start off asking you questions and telling you, oh, they're in the other room, snitching on you. He said that you're a criminal mastermind. Mind you, I think I had just turned 20. So I'm like, I'm 20 years old. I have no criminal record. I have no problem with the law. I am a high school graduate. I was going to school. I was in college. I was like, I literally didn't have, there was nothing that would make you think that I personally was up to no good. Like, you couldn't look at me and say, yep, she's doing something wrong. What would make you say, okay, maybe she's involved in something that maybe he took advantage of and use that situation to trap her into something that she couldn't get out of. But to know that he had a rap sheet that was as extenuated as his was, and then say, hey, she's a criminal mastermind, didn't make any sense to me. So as they're interrogating me, they're like, don't you want to go home to your daughter? Why don't you just sign this statement and tell us, exactly what happened, what he did, how you guys met? And I'm like, okay, I'm signing a statement saying what? Because at this point, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I don't even know why he got arrested. I don't even know why I'm here currently. And you guys are not giving me any information. So then they finally said, well, hey, he's done this in the past before. There was another woman that he was, dealing with, where he got caught up in this string of schemes where he would tell hotels that he would pay a bill and then he wouldn't actually pay them. He would tell the studio sessions he would book weren't actually getting paid. The drivers that he had weren't actually getting paid. So these people were driving around for him for months, with no type of payment whatsoever. So now my question to them was, okay, cool. Now, for me, if I'm a owner of a business and you're giving me your business and I have yet to receive a dime from you at all, would you still seek services from me? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Because if I'm working with you for months and I'm not getting paid a dime and I'm still there, then how much am I hurting you if you're continuously working with me still? You get what I'm saying? So it didn't make any sense to me. So I'm like, okay, granted, this is what you guys feel. This is what you guys said. This is how you feel, whatever. Cool. I get it. Understandable. But at the same token, I had nothing to do with it. So why are you guys pinning this on me as if I'm the one that did it? Granted, my name was the one that was on the paperwork because I was the one that had to check us into the hotel. I was the one that had to set up the reservations. So it was like he used me to do these things so that his name never fell back on it. So that if they were to ever look at the situation, they would say, oh, her name is the one that's on it. It's her ID that popped up at the hotel. She's the one that checked them in. She's the one that had to handle the paperwork. So it was her fault. And that's understandable. However, if you're looking at the situation for how it was, how did I know anything of that? That's just like me checking into a hotel for myself or checking into a hotel for my little sister or for my mom. I'm going to the hotel to get a room key. That's not me paying the bill when you guys got word from the record label that they were taking care of payment. So how is that falling on me? But understandable. I ended up going to jail. I was in jail for about a year. I found out I was pregnant. I was 4 months pregnant when I was in there. I lost the baby due to lack of care. I expressed to them that I was having problems with my health. I couldn't eat. I was throwing up all the time. Everything I ate was like coming right out of me. I lost about, I want to say, close to 60 pounds in like a couple of weeks. It was really bad. I was dehydrated. They had me on IV fluids for like 3 weeks straight. Nothing was helping. I found out December 31st when I went to the hospital. that I actually lost a baby. They did not find a heartbeat. And that was one of the most devastating times for me because it was like, I know my body. I knew something was wrong. They did not, care to, check to send me to the hospital and make sure I was okay. They kind of just waited it out until they felt like they were ready to do so. And then like when everything kind of like died down, like it just pissed me off because it was like the whole thing just didn't make sense. So we ended up getting arrested in like 3 different counties. So it was 2 different states, 3 different counties. Two of the counties were in the same state. The other one was in another state. And even down to paperwork, like paperwork, the motion of discovery. One of the victims claimed that I was a white woman, which I mean, you see me, I'm not white. So so it was just crazy. And it's sad that the justice system works against us as Black individuals.
You
They
sure you're
try
not
to
in blackface? I want to make sure. I just want to make sure because listen, we got Rachel Dolezal, Jessica Krug, the other chick. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I
the
know,
era.
right?
It's the era of being black, so I can get stuff until I get caught. I'm just saying. We can't do it. We can't do it white for white people. 'Cause white people know each other.
Right.
They be like, you don't smell like lettuce. So what's up?
Right.
You trying to pass? So I'm just saying.
Right. But it was sad. It was sad because I was like, I said the paperwork, it just seemed like they didn't care to look at the paperwork. In some of my documentation, it stated that, I owed or that the victims claimed that I owed a certain amount of money. And then when they sent me my motion of discovery, what the victims said, they multiplied that by 3. So the money that they said that I owed back was way more than what they said in the police report. And I had to tell my public defender, like, listen, I don't have money for a lawyer, but I'm hoping that you would help me. And you guys are working against me. There's no reason why I should be going over my paperwork to find out that half of the things that's in the paperwork that I got doesn't even match up to what the victims are saying. So you guys are taking extra money from me for something that I didn't even do to then use that against me. Like, I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So when I finally got released from jail, of course, I ended up getting 7 felonies behind it. It was just ridiculous. It didn't make any sense. But I ended up getting 7 felonies behind it. And of course, Black women in society with a criminal record, trying to work, that's hard. Because majority of the jobs that you would work for, such as like nursing, you can't do. Especially not with a felony, you can't. A lot of jobs when it comes to financial situations, you can't do because they try to attach a fraud charge, which means if somebody sees fraud, the first thing they're gonna think is this person is not trustworthy and I can't allow them to work in my establishment. And something goes wrong. Now we have to deal with, someone that's a criminal working in an establishment and then things not going the right way. So I dealt with rejection after rejection when it came to working. There was jobs that I did get that I didn't have to do background checks for, like McDonald's. There was a hotel job that I worked at. All these jobs I worked at, within 3 months of working there, I got promoted to supervisor. So I know that my job skills were very, they were great, but it was just a simple fact that once they saw that background check, it was over for me. Like, I just had a very hard time with finding decent work where I would get paid what I'm worth. They were under the table jobs or jobs that didn't pay enough, or I couldn't make ends meet with the jobs that I was getting. So they ended up giving me probation for 10 years. So and that to me was excessive because you don't even see murderers getting 10 years for probation. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. But they really took advantage of the situation. The system really does not work for the Black family. They just don't at all. Like, half of the public defenders that's there, they get their gain from whatever they do, but they don't work for you. They're not there to help you unless you find someone that's really passionate about what they do and really want to seek justice. You're not going to find someone that's really going to fight your case for you the way that they should. I mean, unless you're paying someone top dollar to make sure that that's the case, but they're not. And I had to deal with knowing that I would either never get a good job that was going to pay me what I'm worth, I'm gonna have to settle with what I can settle with, or I'm gonna have to, create an opportunity for myself. I'm gonna have to start a business. I'm gonna have to do something that's gonna generate income for me. Because as long as I sit back and allow the system to tell me what I can and cannot have, then I'm always gonna be stuck in their cycle, because that's their way of controlling the Black youth, like the Black children, the Black parents. That's their way of controlling us when we stay stuck in their cycle. When we break those barriers, then it's like, wow, like they're actually way more powerful than we thought. So for me, that's the reason why I went the route that I went with my business, because I was like, like, what else can I do? Like, there's no other job that's going to pay me what I'm worth. There's none. I've tried. I've put in over 200 applications and I've only gotten called back by 3 of them. Okay. So like, there it's just not possible for me right now in this day and age, unless someone decided to say, okay, forget what the criminal background check says. I'm going based off of her experience. I'm going based off of her resume. I'm going based off of her character. She does not seem like the woman that they're portraying her to be. So I'm going to give her a chance. And not many people are willing to do that.
America's a funny place, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. That story was wild. I had to shut off.
Know.
I had to shut off the mic because I was captivated by it. And my daughter decided to wake up, and for some reason, every time I record, she shows up. So I didn't want her on this piece. Well, I'm sure y'all probably heard her in the background anyway. But damn, son. So you find yourself a credit card and a scammer. God, dog.
Right.
I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, that's great, but you know what? You've persevered and you created your own business. So I mean, in America, that's the best you can hope for.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm on that path too. I'm trying to be retired by my birthday in November. So
yeah,
it'll be tough. But I'm willing to put in that work. Which yeah. But let's get into the book.
Okay.
The book. Tell the folk about the book. I don't know. Black people love writing books today, boy. God,
right.
God, dogs.
Because we're so creative.
I see.
We know how to put things in, like, we just know how to put our words to use. And so with the book, so my first book was But Mommy, I Need You, for children with mothers behind bars. It is a book of poetry, and it's a conversation starter. I wrote the book based off of my experience being incarcerated. I didn't really have, like, when I first went to jail, I didn't really have any family support at all. I went in pretty much like abandoned by everyone. So like my mom wasn't there, my sisters weren't there. I didn't get a letter from them until like a month before I was leaving, and so it was hard, to kind of deal with, being in a place that you're unfamiliar with and having to deal with, a bunch of strangers on a regular basis, eating food that you don't want to eat, being around people you really don't want to be around, or talking to people you really don't want to talk to. And not having that backbone. I always tell people all the time, when people are incarcerated, that's the time you want to check on them, because it's when you don't check on them, that's when things happen the most to them. That's when they start going missing while they're in prison. That's when they start getting hurt while they're in prison. That's when you start to neglect them. That's when the COs start treating them even worse, because they're like, well, don't nobody care about you, so no one's going to check for you if something happens, so I wrote the book because I noticed that when I was incarcerated, there was a lot of women that either were pregnant while they were there or just recently had a child while they were there. And there was a lot of moms that kind of just went through a really tough time with their children. I had some women who like their husbands or ex-husbands were keeping them away from talking to their kids. I personally experienced that with my own child, where my mom got tired of me calling because she was like, well, she's crying every time you talk to her. And I think that's a relationship that even while I was in prison, that relationship still would have been fine had the conversation had still kept going, because at least she may not have physically been able to see me, but she would have still been able to speak to me and hear my voice, and I think that would have made a bigger difference. But so I noticed that. And then there was a lot of women who had to give their children up and give them, give them either to the foster system or give them, to relatives, and then going home to have to fight for their custody of their children just because of a choice that they made that they thought was beneficial to their family, especially when they were in need. So the book was a conversation starter. So it speaks about a child. The child is non-gender specific. So if it's a guy reading the book, they can relate to the situation. They can put themselves in that child's shoes. If it's a woman reading the book, they will be able to do the same exact thing. So I didn't want there to be a gender base on the character in the book, but it's a conversation from the child in different stages. So it's a conversation from the child being a child, the child being an adolescent, and then the child growing up to be an adult. It's the mother's response in to the child, and then it's God's response to them, basically to connect them and reconnect them to have that conversation with each other and understand where both of them hurt from the separation, and the explanation as to why things happen the way that they do, not to necessarily hurt their child, but to show them that, what, I did something. Oh, I think my thing went out. But basically, it was just a conversation starter so people can understand, like, these are real life stories. These are things that people really go through. And you don't want to, downplay the effects that a mother has on her child, especially in single family homes. Once a parent gets arrested and they're gone, that leaves everyone else to kind of have to pick up that weight for that child. There's parents or grandparents that don't want to do it, that don't have the ability to, or don't have the mental capacity to want to take on a younger child because their parent is incarcerated. There's a lot of people who get angry when they have to be put in situations like that. They take their anger out on that child, or or the adult, and it doesn't help the child. It's not healthy for them. So I wanted that to be a conversation, because we hear so much about men being incarcerated. We hear so much, we see it on TV all the time about a man getting incarcerated, but we don't talk much about women and incarceration and how it affects them as a woman, let alone their children in the process. And when I came home from jail, it was crazy, because when I finally came home and I saw my daughter didn't even know who I was. She couldn't even recognize me. She had no idea that I was her mom. And that hurt me, because I was like, even if she didn't remember what I looked like, if she had heard my voice, she would have been able to tell that's my mom. So that in itself was like it really did hurt me for like the first couple of months. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because how am I gonna make up the time? Like there was so much time that passed in between. How can I make up the time for her so that she can see that I'm not going anywhere? Like right now, my daughter deals with separation anxiety. I can't go 2 minutes. Like just a few minutes ago, she walked in here and was like standing right next to me. She can't go 2 minutes without being away from me. Like once she's like, if I'm anywhere and I'm like not like in her sight, she has a cell phone, she'll call me like, Mom, what you doing? Where you at? Are you okay? Is everything all right? She likes to check in, and that's something she had to deal with because of the fact that I got arrested when she was so young. So now she's like, I don't want you to go anywhere. I need to know that you were there. Like I can't function if I don't know where you are. So that's something that I know that she currently deals with, and it's a sad situation, because there's a whole bunch of children on this earth that's probably going through the same exact thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's make you laugh real fast.
Okay.
So I went to your Amazon reviews for your book.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody then put up some guy put up all your information.
I know.
That was great.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a dude underneath that who said that they wish you formatted your poems better, but then went on to misspell congratulations. And I should have left him a comment, but I'm finna be nice.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because so the thing with self-publishing, the ad I mean not the ads, but the platforms that they use for you to be able to upload your manuscript and stuff and get it formatted. So they allow you to use like different types of programs to format your book. Now, when they format it, it depends on what type of device you're using. So every device will show up differently. When I use it on my phone, because I pay for my own books and I read them myself. Like I always go over like when I just like have a downtime and I feel like, what is the reason for me being here? Like why am I still here on this earth? I'll go back and I'll read my books because I'm like, these are the reasons why. Like it's to inspire other people, to show people that, out of their mess, there's a message they can make a way out of no way, especially when things don't look right. So I'll read my books, and when I read them on my phone, they look perfect. Like they don't look like there's anything wrong. So there must have been like some like a tablet or something he was using, and he probably had it sideways, so it came up looking crazy. But for me, it didn't look like anything was wrong. And he's the only person that said that to me. I've never heard that from nobody else.
Hey, we be nice. You be nice.
Okay.
You congratulate him, okay?
Right.
Okay. He didn't ask for that.
Right.
Okay?
I'm like, at least he bought it. So I ain't even gonna hold
You
you.
would hope.
Right.
You would hope. I just wonder if he ever needs medical help. Does he call the ambulance or the
Right.
ambulance? People on this earth. I don't know.
That
You
is
would
too
think
funny.
it's 2020. Everybody was home. Everybody would learn grammar, but no,
Right.
people still type like they talk.
Oh my gosh. It's funny too because the guy that wrote like everything on there, I was like, what you do? Like Google the whole thing before you went and posted the review?
Well, people go on those websites and get your
Right.
whole information. I was like, this fool, and he called himself book snob. I was like, God, dog, I better never do nothing wrong. He come out.
Right.
I was like, Bay County. He got the whole amount there. I'm like, how
Right.
do
He
you
put
know
everything
this?
in there. I
She
was
didn't even
like,
tell me the amounts.
I was like, geez, let the people guess. You over here just throwing the information out there.
Jesus.
But it was too funny. And it's funny because I had asked a couple of people, like I showed them the review and I was like, how would you guys take this? Like, I don't feel like he was trying to be like funny, but I was like, because he did give me a really good review. And from what I've seen, he doesn't give reviews like too kindly to people. If he doesn't like your book, he's going to say it. But I was like, he kind of went a little bit too far in. I thought that was a little bit too much. But I was like, how would you guys take it? Because it's like a part of him is like, saying he approved, like he gets the story and it's it's heartfelt. But then another part of me feel like he was trying to be shady.
Oh, he was let me find out he black.
Right? I was like, he was over there trying to be shady. Okay.
He might be a cop.
Right. He's like, I'm investigating all of this.
Damn. Black billionaires. I'm like, she didn't even tell me the name of the
Right.
people she was running with. I was half hoping to see that girl's name you didn't want to mention, but he probably got the file. But it's okay.
But it's funny too.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny too because I remember when I was in court, the judge that gave me the 10 years, he was like, why is she the only one here when there's like a whole list of people that was with them at the time? And
Correct.
my attorney was like, well, she's going to help us get all these people. So I'm looking at him like, okay, for one, you got my motion of discovery. In the motion of discovery, it gives you a list of all the people that was there. They have every last one of their driver's license. They have their addresses, their phone numbers, and everything else that they needed was on that paper. I said, so what information do you need from me? You guys already got it. You guys had to have spoken to somebody because you guys got all their information. So how is it that, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is it that you needed, what help do you need from me when you got everything? But they never actually went after them. So it was just more so like, we just need one person to pin it on. You're here. We arrested you. You're just going to have to take the blame for it. So that's what happened.
Yeah, man. I don't know. So I had to take it off because I kept seeing it. I was like, this dude's great.
Oh my gosh. He is too funny.
I guess. Don't write another one. I'm surprised he didn't go for the other one.
Right.
He left that one alone. He's like, I already said what I said.
Right.
But it's all good. So before we end off, where are we going in 2021 with Miss Niles?
So in 2021, like I said, I do activisting. That's not even a word, but
Activisting.
I do.
You do
I
activating.
do activism. So like that's not even a word. So I do activism for social justice. So what I started doing was I created a YouTube platform to be able to voice my concerns about the justice system, basically catering to all aspects of it. You know, I am looking for change in the laws concerning to the health care of women that are incarcerated, especially ones that are pregnant, so that people are able to really hear them when they say that there's something wrong, someone's paying attention and can give them the medical attention that they need. That's one of the things that I'm doing activism for. Other than that, I have like 3 more book projects that I'm currently working on. I plan to open up a community center, which is actually in the works as we speak, you know, for mentorship for, you know, young Black males and young Black females to help them with, you know, just whatever it is that they need help with, whether they have parents that's incarcerated and they just need somebody to talk to. They're, you know, looking to get into something. I want to create like a fine arts program where they can come and do art, you know, writing, singing, you know, acting, whatever the case may be, so that they can put their, you know, their selves to use in a more positive area. I'm opening up, or finally opening up. Today I got my confirmation that I need to go ahead and do it. But I'm going to start my my mentorship program as far as young authors. I am creating a course to help young people become self-published authors. So I'm going to help them with their creative writing process and giving them the information that they need to create, you know, what's in their mind, put it down on paper so that they could create a great book about it. And there's a lot. Like I was asked to be a member of a board for a not-for-profit organization. You know, I have, you know, a couple of different things. I just recently gotten a mentor. So she's been like helping me with like goal setting and things like that. So 2021 for me is going to be big. I literally just want to use my platform the best that I can to really advocate for women and children, especially our brothers too, because you can never stop advocating for them. Like they need our support as well. So definitely want to, you know, build that up. But I mean, who knows? I might drop an album. Okay. I might actually start singing again. So this time without the extra antics. Okay.
Hey, listen, that's how you sell. You got to have an antic behind it.
Right.
But, you know, I got my album is actually coming out, I hope Friday. I uploaded it to the server. So it's old. I did this 6 years ago, but I think a lot of the stuff that I talk about is relevant, like suicide and, you know, how hip hop sucks now and all this. So
right.
I need all that though.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you got that, so that's great, and you've persevered over it. And you know, there's probably some, better watch yourself. You know, white people come after you.
Right.
Just saying. Shout out to white people though. I like white people. Yeah. I just don't like the white liberal. White liberal,
right.
White liberal got us messed up, and we're gonna have a lot to answer for this year, boy. And I told people this on our other podcast, because I do it with a Cameroonian sister. I told her when this 2021 piece hit, and we know who the next president is, Black folk, you better have your what you call it? You better have your statements of intent ready, because they're gonna ask.
Right.
And y'all better be prepared. Y'all go up in them stores.
Okay.
And you get followed.
Right.
Because you guys, we don't make good decisions, but you know, there's a few of us that are out there trying to show the way. So no, it's all good. We're not gonna trash Black people today. We do that on the other.
No, we're not gonna do it. Not today.
Not today.
We do it next week, but not today.
No, actually, I will tell you about that tomorrow. I'll tell you about that, not tomorrow. I'll tell you about that when we get off air.
Okay.
But yes, but folks, we're going to go. This was fun, sometime fun. So before we go, Miss Niles, because I'm not going to touch that name again because I'm going to get in trouble. You can let everybody know where they can find you. You promote your books again, and then we fixing to get out of here.
Okay, so I am on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Clubhouse. You guys can find me on IG at Addie Praise, ADDIE That is literally my username for pretty much everything. So if you can't find me on one thing with that name, you'll find me on something else though. But I started my YouTube channel. I do not know the whole freaking URL, but you can look up my name, and I have a very unique name, so no one's name is gonna pop up besides mine. But you can definitely check me out on YouTube. Facebook is the same exact thing. If you go to facebook.com/Addie Praise, you'll find me there too. And then my books are available on Amazon. So both books, But Mommy, I Need You and Roller Coaster of Emotions are both on Amazon. You can either search my name or just search the name of the books. You'll find either or. But that's all I got for you guys.
Cool. All right, folk. Again, this was fun. So, so before we head off, you know how I'm gonna say it. Should I do it for her, folk? Should I shout out the IG model? Nah, we're not gonna shout out the IG model. We did that for Christmas. Nah, we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna end it like this. Okay, everyone. You know how it is. You gotta take care, stay safe, wear your mask to get your supplies, and just remember, be wary of people that give you studio time because you don't know their intentions. If they do not have their distribution ready and they have a system where they're going to get your music out, do not do it.
Right.
But because Miss Niles can attest to this, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But it's always a blessing sometimes. It just maybe a negative will open up a positive.
Right.
But we're not gonna do that today, folks. She told me off air. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say that. I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm not gonna say that because that Negro might be listening.
Right.
But she is blessed because that we black, so we gotta put that out there.
Right.
I'm agnostic, but I'm gonna say we blessed. So everyone, take care, stay safe, and oh yeah, I know it's 2021. We just started, but y'all also remember, you know the message that we gonna see at the end, right? Tell it to them.
Advice: always bet on black.